Hi, everybody. My name is Onur Simsek. I work as a product manager at Belvo, and I'm responsible for analytics products in enrichment department. Today, I would like to share with you how we use machine learning. It's open finance data. As you know that recently this topic is quite popular thanks to ChatGPT. Even just before this presentation, actually, I was reading on LinkedIn how ChatGPT actually changing the industry. One ad tech company, actually, they lost 50% of their value because actually we were expecting this, right? Like ChatGPT changing all the environment and all the companies are getting impact from this situation. So basically, in summary, I would like to say now we are at a time that companies, institutions who use data better, actually they get benefit and create better solution for their customers. When it comes to open finance, maybe it's better to start with what is open finance and what kind of use cases it actually creates in financial world. Basically, actually, open finance data, before like the financial data that we have has to stay in the bank itself. So we cannot use this data. This, let's say, owner of this data is the bank itself. But thanks to open finance, now the power is switched to the user. So user is the actually owner of data, and if user wants to share this data with third parties, now thanks to open finance, it's possible. So this actually brings data and make it more accessible and transparent, and provides many companies, developers, build like many applications that actually quite valuable for user and the company for itself. So when we like look at the examples in here, you see like this data enable us to make intelligent decisions thanks to actually this could be like machine learning data insights, maybe all the rule based. It's not important. The most important thing is data itself. So we can build like personalized money experiences, enable of course like new business models, and support financial wellness. And of course, there are many examples thanks to open finance data that we use for fraud and risk mitigation. Of course, when I say open finance data, there are some challenges here. Then the most typical one is open finance data is quite unstructured and it's very difficult to work. The main reason is actually it's coming from different sources, different banks, and it's structured in a different ways because there is no, let's say, standard on the market. So every bank actually define their standard in terms of transaction description. So it makes everything, of course, complex to understand and do, let's say, better analysis. In here, you see like Amazon, a person make a purchase, and 5 different banks you see in here how define differently on their transaction description this purchase. The first bank is say Amazon BR and Turismo Entretenimiento Sao Paulo. And the second one, Compra Cartão Debit Mastercard, includes in here the bank wants to use first card type and then the date and then the company name. The third one is Transferencia Enviada Amazon. Actually, even they changed the name of the company and just 3 letters they use for this. The fourth bank, you see the Compra no Debito, another format, and some part of the actually probably the card name, card number. And the last one is actually Pix Enviado, some number. And in here you see the technology that is used for this purchase. So when you think about this, actually it's the data itself quite messy and it's quite complex to understand like all these transfers actually try to say the same thing, even though the descriptions are completely different. Let's go a bit further. It's just not about that. as I mentioned, the structure is different. Like it's not only how you mention Amazon in your transaction description, but also every company provides quite different information with different structure in their description. Some company provide merchant name, some companies terminal number, transaction type, dates and location, the name of the payment processor. So there are a lot of possibilities. And when you think about like millions of merchants, thousands of payment type, so it's becoming really crazy to understand this data. In here, like I think like couple of if conditions, some rules, those are not enough. You need much more than this, a lot of creative ways to make this data understandable. And like one more step, and there is another, of course, challenge here, which is language and localization. For example, the first example you see like pago de cobrança luz, basically it is bills and utilities. But when you go to the second example, you see transferencia recibida Jessica Cristina da Luz, which is actually a person's surname. So actually this is kind of transfer. The third one is similar to the first one, pagamento contra luz. Actually, you see like it's kind of like bills and utilities as well. The fourth one is transferencia recibida Lucinete Rodriguez da Silva. Probably I cannot pronounce it well, but in here, this is the person name. So when you think about the second one was like surname, the fourth one is a name. And the last one, you see Luz de Mundo, which is actually the name of the store. So it's actually home maintenance as a category. So when we think about all these like options, it's becoming quite complex. So as I would like to summarize here, like banks, like the data is coming from different banks. That creates complexity because there is no standard on the market. The second one is there are a lot of payment types and there is no structure. So even though the merchant is the same, there could be like different options to create a transaction description. And this one in here, we see like localization and the language barrier. And the last one I would like to mention here is it's so common to have duplicate transactions in open finance data. Like there are many reasons, such as like system errors, delayed processing. For example, in the morning, one transaction is in pending status, but the other day it's becoming processed. And let's say there could be some human errors and banking errors. So all these things like really require like a duplicate, let's say, process that you need to apply on your system to make sure that you generate better insights and have accurate data. Otherwise, if you use open finance data the way banks provide you today, it's impossible to have accurate results. This is 100% because we are working in many markets. We see it in Latin America, we see it in Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, and all of them are the same. Even in Europe, there is a like regulation, etc., like Brazil. It's so common. So you have to have this like normalization process to improve your data. So with all this, I would like to say we are coming to a point. Data normalization and enrichment is a must to create actionable insights and to get benefit from this data. In Belvo, this is a process that from the beginning we actually built because of this reality that we see in the data to build, let's say, all our enrichment products to help our, let's say, our customers build better products and accurate products. Maybe the better sentence is this one. So what I mean with normalization enrichment, we have actually 3 steps for us quite important. First, we cleanse the data. We standardize data. So in previous examples, you can imagine that we take Amazon from here and we say, this is Amazon. This is the logo of the Amazon. This is the website of the Amazon. So we provide all necessary information about Amazon. And the second step is reconciliation. So we check if there is another Amazon with the same, let's say, similar pattern that we have in here. Thanks to machine learning, actually, we use a lot to remove duplicates. So this is quite important process. When we get rid of the duplicates, the third step is enrichment. In here, thanks to our machine learning infrastructure, we try to understand what kind of transaction is this. It's like an e-commerce, it's and home and maintenance, it's bills and utilities. In here we have more than 100 categories. So we assign a category and try to make it more meaningful for our customer. This is like fundamentals of our solution, actually, to get the most from open finance data. And it's a must, to use this data for your business. And of course, I mentioned machine learning, but I have to say here, we use like not only machine learning, because machine learning itself is not enough, because data itself is quite complex. We use a couple of different technologies to make it more let's say, easy to understand for our customers. Apart from machine learning, we use a rule-based system. We use merchant database, which is very important to detect the merchant. And of course, the most other important part is like customer feedback. As you see the complexity, even though the system generates a lot of, let's say, information, insights about the transaction, at the end, we see also sometimes customers are saying, look, this is not actually Amazon, this is Mercado Libre, or this is not Amazon Prime, actually it's Amazon. So these feedbacks also coming to the system. And thanks to our infrastructure, we feed the infrastructure with the improvements, and it automatically actually generates new rules and, let's say, labels for machine learning system to apply those changes and improve our accuracy. A bit actually, as we said, like today's topic is machine learning, I would like to actually give you a bit high level like model that we use, but I will keep it high level because today I would like to mention more the problem itself and how actually what kind of solution we provide with our products. In terms of machine learning, we use in here like supervised learning. Basically, actually, we have quite a lot of data from different banks. And we, as I mentioned, like first normalize, then actually we do manual labeling with actually quite a lot data we use to train our model. And then with this like the train model, we use like a transaction classification methods and apply it to our model. And somehow actually maybe in here you see like super short version in here how we apply the machine learning in our infrastructure. But in here the most important part, of course, as I mentioned, large amount of data. As Belvo, we have been working many years on this area. 3 million people already connected their account to us. That means actually 3 million examples today we have that help us to understand what kind of, let's say, data we should expect from banks in different bank accounts. And this actually makes our system powerful. Today, with our, let's say, technology, we provide some enrichment products. Today, I would like to a bit mention those products and how actually what kind of problems we try to solve with these products. The first one is categorization and merchant ID. Basically, in here we have we do categorization and try to detect the merchant. Income verification, we try to detect income from open finance data. Again, the same way, recurring expenses and risk insight. Following pages, I will provide you more information about each of them. What does it mean? With categorization, as you see at the right side, we have main categories in here, and also they have subcategories. Recently, we launched this product, and we have more than 100 categories. And each category, you get like more insights. Maybe I can give you one of them is like income and payments, which is one of the most important one for many businesses. In here, we are not just saying income and payments. Actually, we also provide more information if this income is coming from salary or pension, or this is from your investment that you get some interest, or this is a government help. Actually, all these details actually provide a lot of information to our customers in many different business. When we think about lending business, for example, this is so important to take decision to approve the loan, because every, let's say, income type actually provide you different insights and give you different information while taking this approval decision. So far, we have 90% coverage in 3 markets, Mexico, Colombia, and Brazil. And we have 85% accuracy. And month by month, we are improving our accuracy. As I mentioned, we are labeling 10K data, 10,000 data per month. And it's actually helped us a lot to improve our system. We are providing personal and business transactions. We categorize them. And we are available in Spanish and Portuguese languages. The next one is merchant identification. As you remember from the Amazon example, how actually it's difficult to detect the merchants from these complicated transaction descriptions. In here, thanks to our infrastructure, we try to understand actually the merchant name, logo, and websites. And actually, this really enrich the experience of the users, especially when you think about a mobile banking application. When you see this transaction description and versus this one, they really understand, where they actually made this purchase. Even it really helps to understand if this is a fraudulent transaction or not. And also for institution, it's also better to understand where their customers spend their money. So actually, in both sides, it creates a lot of value with enriched data. In here, you can see like in banking, lending, buy now, pay later, loan brokers, PFM applications, this data is quite important. The other product that we built thanks to our machine learning infrastructure is income verification. In here, the problem, lending companies, before approve any loan, income is one of the most important detail they try to see if the customer has or not. It's of course like having seeing income with details important. For example, I would like to give some example here. When we see some transactions, our infrastructure try to understand what kind of income is this, how frequently the user actually receive this income. And we also provide here confidence score, which is actually coming from our data analytics side, because it looks seeing income is not enough. If we detect an income, of course, this is quite important information, but the lender is actually needs a bit further than this, which is actually how likely this income could continue, right? So thanks to our data and data analytics tools, in here we analyze with a lot of data with different markets, try to build our model, try to understand with, let's say, transactions up to 12 months, what could be the probability of this income could continue in the future. And we in here provide a confidence score like high, medium, and low. And this is actually quite helpful for our lenders to take lending decisions. And recurring expenses. This is quite similar to income, but in here the topic is we try to detect, let's say, regular payments of the user and their subscriptions. and provides name, payment type, frequency, and category to actually again help companies understand how actually their customers spend their money and their, of course, liabilities, how they use money, what kind of actual subscription or regular payments they have. This is for PFM, for lending business, for banks, quite important information to know their customer better. And here, the other product I would like to show you here is Risk Insights. As you know that, like, you see a lot of details. You can actually see all financial life of the user thanks to Open Finance, because before, all lending business was working with credit bureau data, which is limited to actually credit background, right? But in here we go a bit further. We are not providing you like only credit background, but also income, how this person actually spend their money, their credit consumption, loan repayments. So in here, in this specific one, we have a lot of groups of metrics. And these metrics right now our customers are using to take like a credit risk decision. We are providing almost more than 100 metrics, and companies are using this in their credit risk model and decide which one is more important for their specific loan type. Because it doesn't mean we have provide a metric, they have to use it, but they just pick which one is more meaningful for the business model, and they do some credit risk analysis at the beginning of the process. In here, I would like to summarize so far what we talk about. Open finance is a new world. Instead of, let's say, the bank is not anymore owner of data. Now the user is the owner of the data, and they can share with this data with third parties. And as I mentioned, this data is quite complex. It requires some work to clarify, to remove duplicates, and to make it easy to understand. And in here, we use many techniques, and machine learning is one of them, thanks to our 3 million accounts that's already connected with Belvo. This enables us to use data analytics tools to make it more understandable, this data. And we have more than 100 categories to categorize this transaction, and we have 85% accuracy. And we actually block the financial life of the user, create some blocks and make it more easy to understand by our customers. Like we say, this is income, this is essential spending, this is committed expenditure, this is discretionary spend. So all these things actually super meaningful. Let's talk about in here credit business, for credit business. And in here, as a finally, we turn them into credit metrics. This could be liquidity metric, income metric, balance, or category specific metrics. We are in here quite provide like broad number of metrics, and we do in each case credit risk analysis to actually get the most from this data. So far, we have many clients for lending business, lending area. And also, we see personal finance management applications also using our categorization. Also, many banks actually for like their marketing department for upsell, cross-sell. You know, we detect, for example, I can give an insurance in here. We detect an insurance from like a history of the transactions of the user. So this insurance, when it comes to so close to the end, so the bank can offer a new one. So all these things actually, thanks to our infrastructure, it's really easy to implement. Thank you so much. This is all from me today. I would like to see if there is any question I would like to reply. I don't see any of them, but later I would like to share also my information. Please, we are happy to help to actually understand better open finance data and to overcome all these challenges that we see today to understand this data. So we already have 3 million connected accounts, and this actually enable us to do better data analysis and provide you easy to use insights that actually creates great value for your business. Thank you so much.